Alright, this is the second video here. Excuse me. I'm going to take my car here. I like that orange color. I like that a lot. I'm going to make the car that color. Yeah. That's nice. That is not what the car looks like. Why? Oh, because of the material. I'm going to double click this and change this color to that. That looks nice. Alright, in the last project I wanted you to add materials to the car. So that would be going into the tires and probably adding an inset and adding a rubber material, adding some glass material. Do what you want to. You can put a bitmap of a car grill. So if you were to look up something like this, you could put that on there if you wanted to. Or you could just find a picture of a car and put that on the front of the car. That's up to you. Okay, so the next part in this module what we're going to do is create the city. So I'm going to hide this car. Now what I want you to do is start by going to the internet and typing in and we're going to keep this really simple and easy. Now we could do something a little more intricate where we created intersections and crosswalks and all that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep it simple, and I'm going to save this image and use that for the streets. So I'm going to save this really fast to where I need to go. And what I'm going to do right now off camera is squirt my hands with sanitizer and wipe them down because I've been eating Party Chex Mix and my hands are greasy now. So I've just squirted them with hand sanitizer, and I'm wiping the hand sanitizer off, and I'm drying my hands off. So what I have now are dry, clean hands that have been sanitized and no longer have crumbs on them. So I'm going to go now here to school, go to 3ds Max, and this will be module 12. I'm going to save this as street. I'm going to get my images here first. So the first couple minutes of this video is just me finding pictures. So now I'm going to do city building facade. And I'm going to save some of these pictures for the buildings that I'll be making. So I'll just call this facade 1. Let's save this as facade 2. Facade 3. Yeah, there's some pretty good pictures here. That one was not a very good one. That works. Facade 4. Let's just do one more. That's a really good one. Facade 5. Okay, now we need grass. And this you're going to want to make sure it's seamless. Try to find a picture that is not blurry. That is... Okay, so this website looks pretty good. It's nowdzgraphics.net. And I'm going to save that. That looks pretty good right there. I'm going to save that as grass. And now I'm going to save, excuse me, an image of a sidewalk. Texture without the R. Okay, just to be a little bit different, I'll save that. Sidewalk. Okay. Are there any other textures I need for a city? I don't think so, so I'm just going to go ahead. Let's say I'll take... No, that's it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is create a box. Whoops, I'm not going to take a box. Sorry, I'm going to just go ahead and disregard that. Okay, I'm going to start with the nose segment, so I'm just going to right click here. If the options aren't here for you to change, remember you can go up here and then click on these as well. I'm pressing G to turn off the grid. Make sure that edged faces are on for everybody at home. You can turn edge faces on, excuse me, right here, or you can press F4 for everybody in class. Now what I'm going to do is just cut in some places where I want my streets to go. I'm going to fit about 8 streets on here, so you want to keep them small. So I'm going to go into edge mode after I convert this into an editable poly. And for those people at home, you can do this with your mouse. Just click and drag through here. I'm going to cut this down the middle first with 2 edges. And remember, the middle dial, you click and drag these close. So you want to keep these roads kind of small because we're going to fit more in here. So I'm going to hit the settings box. I'm going to try to keep these roads exactly the same size. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Excuse me. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing going this way. Trying to keep the roads the same size and small enough to be able to fit the buildings in between. So what I'm going to do here is move these streets over to the side this way, and I'll spread them out a bit. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Alright, so now I have city blocks. And let's say I'm going to do the same thing on the edges here. So I have this little section to add grass and a sidewalk to. So I'm just going to select these edges here. You can leave this out at home. If you're using a mouse pad, with your fingers, then you can leave this out. But I'm just going to hold shift and drag this a little bit here on the end. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Again, if you're at home, you can skip this part. I'm just holding control and I'm clicking on the edges. And I'm going to hold shift and drag this out. Remember, at home, if you think that I'm going too fast, you are more than welcome to hit pause. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do one street at a time so I don't get confused. You know what? I need edges. People at home can skip this part, but I need my edges to be a little bit longer so it's wide enough for a street, and then I'll hold shift and make a little bit for the grass. So I'm going to do the same thing down here. Okay, I'm going to hold shift after I drag this down a little bit to be long enough for a street. Now I'm going to hold shift. Okay, there I'm going to stop. Now I have a road going all the way around and then going through the middle. So again, I'm going to do one street at a time. I'm just going to select the portions of the street that aren't in the intersection. You know what? Let's do it all at the same time. I'm going to select the road. This will be the longest part of the process, although it's not long at all. It just takes a minute because you're clicking these polygons. Polygon is 4 on the keyboard. Okay, now I'm just going to set up a material. I'm going to press M. And I'm going to add a scan line standard. And I'm going to double click it. Right click, show shaded material in viewport, and I'm going to rename it street. And I'm going to hit the diffuse button, add a bitmap, and go to my project file. Excuse me. And I'm just going to drag it on here. And now I'm going to select the in-between roads here. All the roads going this way. So all the sections of polygons going up and down are vertical. And now I'm going to add an unwrap to these. So just press U and then unwrap. Open the UV editor. You can turn on the picture here so you can see what it looks like. And now I'm going to hit this button and I'm going to rotate them all. The easiest way to do this is just to position one and then you can copy the position to the rest. So I'm just selecting the move tool here. Actually, let me go back and see what I did. Okay, so I'm going to add an unwrap by typing U. Open up the UV editor. Turn on the picture. I'm going to rotate, so I select rotate. My angle snap is on here. I'm going to move these polygons off to the side. Now I'm just going to select one. And I'm going to click this button right here. Excuse me. And it looks like I'm on this polygon right here. So it looks like this thing needs to be rotated back the way it was, but that's okay. So I'll deselect it by clicking an empty space. I'm going to click the rotate button, select this again, and rotate it. And now I'm going to use the freeform mode here. And I'm going to drag this up. And I'm going to stretch out the edges. And now I'm going to stretch out the edge to do this. Okay. And now here is how I just do one polygon. And that works for the rest of them, because what I do is I edit and I copy this, so I'm copying the position of this polygon. Now I'm going to select these polygons and I'm just going to go up and paste it. So it's going to paste all these all at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing to these polygons as well. So I'm going to convert this into an editable poly. Now I'm going to go through and select I'm going to unwrap these. Turn on the picture. See if they're going the right way. They are. That's perfect. So I'm going to move it off to the side, and I'm just going to select one. Okay, I'm going to unwrap it with this flatten custom, and I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other polygon. Okay, so I'm working with this right here. I want to try to keep it the same size excuse me, as this, and it looks like those edges are a little bit longer, so I'll make them a little bit shorter, and that looks good right there. So now I'm just going to copy this polygon. Now I'm going to select the rest of these, and I'm going to paste it. So that fixed all of them at once. I'm going to convert this into an editable poly. Now what I'm going to do is select the polygons in the middle. This one's a little easier. I just want this to be blank. So I'm going to select one polygon, drag it in the middle, and I'm going to scale one up so it's only showing on the asphalt or the black part. And it should be kind of high resolution. And I don't want it to be on the white or on the yellow. Say, which one am I doing? This one right here. Okay, that looks pretty good right there. I'm just going to copy that position. I'm going to select the opposites and then paste them. Now I'm going to convert to an editable poly, and now we should be good. Alright, I'm going to stop right there with this section of the video. So that sets up the road. And there's Mr. Heidorn.